Hello everybody, welcome back to our consideration of work and, well, in these two videos, worklessness. We're thinking about unemployment, we're thinking about what the state does in response to unemployment and thinking about how that could be different. I'm drawing on ideas from three thinkers of the American right, so thinkers who would associate, say, with republicanism in America. Their perspectives. We had the Austrian-Hungarian Hayek in our first video, and then Charles Murray, his ideas. I'm going to draw on the ideas of a different thinker today for this last video, Lawrence Mead, often termed Larry Mead in the media. He's a New Yorker, but born and bred and also based there. Mead's ideas are very, very interesting in comparison with Murray's ideas. They overlap a little bit. Mead sees the problems of the poor of today not so much as an absence of opportunity. Now, Murray was stressing the lack of opportunity, people in these poor environments, poor social environments. Mead was stressing not so much that point. It's not really about an absence of opportunity, but rather a kind of personal, individual reluctance to take advantage of the opportunity that is out there. And Mead really develops these ideas, thinking about people's entitlements and people's obligations. Both words come up in the title of his 1986 text, Beyond Entitlement, the Social Obligations of Citizenship. He describes our time, the time of America in the 80s, as being the era of dependency politics. He sees the US system as being too permissive, and he calls for a more authoritative welfare policy. Mead's position is clearly close to Murray's here. Mead actually speaks about this, and he tries to make a distinction between their ideas, their perspectives. He says that it really boils down to their different views on human nature. And Mead says, for Murray, poor adults are short-sighted calculators who are tempted into dysfunction by the disincentives of welfare. In contrast, he notes, my own view is that they are depressed but dutiful. People are willing to observe mainstream norms like work if only the government will enforce them. So a similar conclusion to Murray, it's the government's fault, it's the welfare state's fault, but they have slightly different perspectives on how exactly the problem evolves. Mead thinks the welfare state should be more authoritative. The state should be strict as well as kind, really enforce people's good citizen behaviour. People have a natural tendency to be good citizens, but the state needs to do a little bit just in enforcing this. So little reminders, okay? It's the speed camera idea. You're going to have a tendency to drive too fast. The speed camera reminds you of your natural interest, in respecting speed limits. In other words, the state should offer more tough love. This is all about tough love parenting from the state. Once again, I'm going to throw it over to you guys. Natter with your partner. What do you think about all of this? Do our welfare states need to be stricter and enforce citizens' sense of responsibility to work? Natter with your partner. My next question, this is part of a general trend, it's part of an international trend in politics. Discuss with your partner, have these late 20th century thinkers, I've introduced now Hayek's ideas, Murray's ideas, and now Mead's, have they influenced these thinkers of the new right, have they influenced your country's social policy? Can we feel the influence of their arguments here in Germany as well? Once again, discuss that with your partner. I think we do have a trend here, and I think their arguments, their lines of thinking have greatly influenced German policy as well. We're seeing an international trend. We had in the 1960s and the 1970s, we had very distinctive welfare state forms, and we might even talk about the era of welfare. And in contrast, we may want to represent our approaches today as being the workfare approach. So the influence of new right thinkers transforming welfare into workfare. Welfare benefits today have very, very strict eligibility requirements. Benefits are conditional. You only get the benefit if. Conditional on the job seeker actively looking for work. Indeed, when I was a kid, you even had different names for benefits. If I was unemployed, I'd get my unemployment benefit. We used a wonderful old word from the medieval period for dole. You got your dole. Isn't that fascinating? And when I was a teenager, it was renamed. That benefit was now the job seeker's allowance. So it's an allowance for somebody actively looking for work. German buzzwords here. I think in Germany, the change was a fairly abrupt one in the early 21st century. I was a social work student in the year 2004, and by that time, this reform was just completed. I think it's like 2002, that kind of period. I'm thinking of the discourse around Aktivierung in German. That was a real buzzword in social policy discussions. Of course, the reform itself was colloquially known as Hartz IV, named after the Vorsitzende, after the person that actually chaired that reform committee. And we had a whole bunch of innovations. People talked about Euro jobs back then, which I found the weirdest of ideas. That was a kind of a German manifestation of this trend. I've even got a lovely image here. Look at this. This is a verb conjugation table. Something like 5 or 6 years after that reform, people started using Hartz as a verb. You know, what are you doing these days? How are you getting on? Are you working? Ich harze ein bisschen. It's funny, isn't it? So we're changing our way of thinking about welfare. We're changing our way in which we're thinking about work. It's even leading on to these new words and concepts. I want to close this presentation by giving you a link to interesting videos. Going back 9 years now, Larry Mead was visiting Liverpool, the city of Liverpool, walking around quite working class districts, quite districts maybe with some social deprivation, meeting people, interacting with people, speaking to people, and sharing his ideas and giving us his American insights on what we should be doing in the UK. The video comes in 2 parts. Somebody obviously recorded it straight from TV. We'll watch the first one, it's about 10 minutes long in full, and then it will continue with part 2. You don't need to watch all of part 2. There's a political debate in the studio later. You can stop there. But watch the first 4 minutes of the second part as well. So something like 14, 15 minutes viewing for you. I think it's really interesting. When you've watched it, discuss it with your partner. What do you think of this clip? Do any comments from Mead or the others stay in your mind? And obviously a closing question, your final thoughts on this workfare idea as Larry Mead is so energetically promoting it. Let's come to a close here. Thanks for watching these videos. Hope you like them. Cheerio. Goodbye.